think, like you mentioned, Mary Kay, football is an emotional sport, and certainly you can, when you're a family like we are, you can have your disagreements. Sometimes
The play calling was horrible, and the special teams just didn't come out to play. It was not on Shedeur Sanders.
I called out to him because on my podcast, Cut to It, I just talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in a way.
Browns fans are heated right now. Kevin Stefanski seemed to have taken Jerry Jeudy's side and straight up ignored Shedeur Sanders in that heated moment. And honestly, that's wild, because Shedeur has been the only steady thing keeping this offense alive. Fans are saying Stefanski is creating problems instead of fixing them. Let's break down why this snub has everyone furious. Stefanski keeps saying football is emotional and family can disagree, but fans aren't buying that anymore. They see a coach who hides behind the same soft lines every time things get messy. The truth is simple. The play calling was bad, like really bad. The special teams didn't show up, and none of that was on Shedeur. Yet Stefanski still acts like everyone should calm down while he ignores the real issues. Fans are calling it Kevin sabotage now because it feels like every week he does something that slows Shedeur down instead of helping him grow. They're tired of the excuses, tired of the repetition, and tired of a coach who protects the wrong people while the one guy carrying the offense gets blamed. And then there's Jerry Jeudy, the guy who leads the league in dropped passes, somehow trying to challenge Shedeur like he's done anything this season. Fans are furious because they see it for what it is, and that is jealousy. Fans think he couldn't handle the spotlight shifting away from him, so he tried to make Shedeur look like he didn't know what he was doing. They keep calling him out because they feel he turned on his own teammate just to protect his own ego. They see a guy who talks big but disappears when the ball hits his hands. So when Stefanski sides with Jeudy publicly, fans feel betrayed all over again. Instead of defending the quarterback who's actually producing, he stands behind the receiver who keeps dropping drives and starting drama. It makes people question the entire direction of the team. They feel like Stefanski is more worried about managing personalities than winning games. And that's why the fan base is raging, because they see Shedeur staying calm, doing his job, owning his role, while a jealous receiver and a repetitive coach keep dragging the team backwards. Fans believe Shedeur deserves a coach who protects him, not one who lets others tear him down.
Pump your brakes if you think this game was all about Shedeur Sanders not owning up to his highest potential, because his statistics was identical to Brock Purdy's. The biggest difference was the special teams along with the defense, if we're being honest. But the play calling was horrible, and the special teams just didn't come out to play. It was not on Shedeur Sanders.
People need to slow down and stop acting like this loss was on Shedeur. His numbers were right there with the opposing quarterback, so the idea that he didn't show up makes no sense. The real problems were everywhere else. The play calling was a mess, the defense kept giving up easy yards, and the special teams looked completely unprepared. Anyone who actually watched the game saw that Shedeur kept doing his job while the team around him kept falling apart. It's unfair and lazy to point fingers at the one guy who stayed calm, stayed sharp, and kept the offense moving even when everything else was collapsing. And honestly, the frustration fans feel is real because they're tired of the same pattern every week. Shedeur plays well, but the coaching choices and execution from others drag the team down. The playbook looked flat, the timing was off, and there was no spark from the sidelines. Yet somehow the blame keeps circling back to Shedeur, like he's supposed to cover every mistake on offense, defense, and special teams at the same time. The truth is simple: he delivered, and the people around him didn't. If anything, this game proved how strong Shedeur is under pressure and how badly he needs the rest of the team, especially the coaches, to match his level.
Kevin, I'm just wondering, did you see that there was a sideline confrontation that happened between Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Jeudy? And I know that that's part of football, that those kind of things do happen. But I'm just wondering, what you not only thought of that, but what do you think is kind of going on with Jerry Jeudy in this season where it's just not going for him the way that he would have expected, or that I guess you guys would have expected?
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, Mary Kay, football is an emotional sport, and certainly you can, when you're a family like we are, you can have your disagreements. Sometimes they're for everybody to see. Sometimes it's behind closed doors, but like a family, we move on. We talk about it, so I'm not worried about it.
Stefanski gives the same soft answer every time something serious happens, and fans are sick of it. Instead of addressing why a receiver with endless drops is yelling at the quarterback who's carrying the offense, he hides behind the football is emotional line like a shield. He treats everything like a small family disagreement when the whole world can see it's a deeper issue. This wasn't two equal players having a heated moment. This was a struggling receiver lashing out at the one guy holding the team together. And Stefanski refusing to call that out feels like weakness, not leadership. It's like he's scared to hold certain players accountable, even when those players hurt the team more than they help. Meanwhile, Shedeur stays calm, stays respectful, and keeps producing. Yet he gets zero protection from the coach who should be backing him the most. So why defend the player causing drama instead of the quarterback saving your job every week? Why pretend everything is fine when the whole team can see the tension? Why keep excusing a receiver who can't catch, but keep ignoring the young quarterback who actually shows maturity? Why do the same players get passes every week while Shedeur gets left to fend for himself? And why should fans trust a coach who keeps brushing off real problems with the same tired lines? At some point, Stefanski has to stop hiding behind emotions and family talk and start acting like a leader who actually sees what's happening right in front of him. Because Shedeur deserves better than a coach who refuses to stand up for him.
Kevin, Shedeur raised a point after the game yesterday, just in terms of building time on task with Jerry and building more of a trust level with him. In terms of a young quarterback with receivers, how much of that is practice and how much is maybe meeting room, watching film? Just what is the process in terms of building that?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. I think it's definitely being on the same page as an offense, and that comes in meetings and walkthroughs and understanding concepts and what we're trying to do and those type of things. And then time on task on the football field and practice and routes versus air and games. I think all of that adds up.
Stefanski keeps giving the same textbook answer every time Jeudy's inconsistency comes up, and it's getting embarrassing. He talks about meetings, walkthroughs, concepts, time on task. Like the problem is that Shedeur hasn't worked hard enough, when anyone watching knows Shedeur has been the one putting in the real effort. The issue isn't practice reps. The issue is that Jeudy still can't finish plays, still drops key passes, and still acts frustrated at the wrong person. Instead of saying that out loud, Stefanski hides behind vague coach talk to avoid admitting that the receiver is not holding up his end. Meanwhile, Shedeur is the one trying to build trust, trying to be professional, trying to create chemistry. And the coach keeps framing it like both sides are equal in the amount of work they need to do. They're not. One guy shows up prepared every week. The other keeps letting the team down. If Stefanski really wanted to be on the same page, he would start by holding Jeudy to a standard instead of talking in circles. Fans see what's happening, and that is, Shedeur is doing everything right, studying, adjusting, watching film, improving timing, while Jeudy gives the quarterback attitude instead of effort. Stefanski should be asking why his receiver needs constant babysitting while his rookie quarterback is the only one acting like a grown man. But instead, he shifts the focus toward more meetings, more walkthroughs, more vague teamwork talk, like repetition is going to magically fix a player who refuses to step up. It's unfair to Shedeur. It's soft on Jeudy, and it shows a coach who keeps protecting the wrong people. At some point, Stefanski has to stop pretending this is a both sides problem and admit that Shedeur deserves receivers and a coach who match his level of commitment.
Broncos wide receiver Jeudy was walking by, and Steve called out to him, and he got a different reaction.
I called out to him because on my podcast, Cut to It, I just talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in a way or in a manner. And so the word that I've used to describe him in the past was a jag, just a guy.
Just a guy.
When I saw him, he's playing well. I wanted to say to him face to face, like, hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's what I wanted to say to him. His response, Mike Robb, was ninja.
Ninja.
Yes, I'm using the word ninja. I'm just using the word ninja. I don't mess with you. And it was a curse word. And so I was like, all right. And then he repeated it. So I'll say it again. I'm sorry that I said you were a jag, just a guy who's an average wide receiver that used a first-round pick on, that isn't doing anything. I hope today that you actually show up in a way that you haven't showed up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver, that they eventually will move on. And when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you, I will say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy, because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He could be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
Rhett? Yes! 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 I love it. Oh my goodness, the football gods have blessed us, guys. Oh, thank you.
Steve Smith said what everyone else has been too polite to say about Jerry Jeudy, and he said it straight. Jeudy has been just a guy for years, a first-round pick who never turned into the player he was supposed to be. Instead of accepting honest criticism from a legendary receiver trying to apologize, Jeudy snapped back with attitude and curse words, proving exactly why people say he can't handle pressure. Smith even tried to give him respect face-to-face, and Jeudy still acted like a child who thinks confidence can replace consistent play. And the worst part? He does the same thing with Shedeur. Quick to talk, slow to produce. Fans see this clearly. They see a receiver who wants star treatment without star results. A guy who disappears in big moments, but somehow always has the loudest reaction when someone calls him out. What makes it even worse is Stefanski continuing to protect Jeudy like nothing's wrong. How does a coach watch his receiver blow up at a legend, blow up at his own quarterback, and still pretend this is normal emotions? Why won't he ever challenge Jeudy the way he challenges young players like Shedeur? Why keep defending a guy who drops more balls than he catches, but attack quietly the quarterback who actually keeps the team in games? At what point does Stefanski admit Jeudy is part of the problem, not the solution? And why should fans trust a coach who ignores red flags this big? Stefanski keeps talking about family and emotions, but a real leader would hold Jeudy accountable and protect Shedeur, not the other way around. In the end, this whole situation proves one thing. Stefanski keeps backing the wrong guy, just like he did with Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur is the one paying the price. Fans see Jeudy's attitude, they see the drops, and they see a coach who refuses to face the truth. If you're enjoying the breakdown, make sure to subscribe and like for more.